Guys, what is up? Big Reviews here, back again with another video, and we just had probably one of the biggest Marvel leaks since, I want to say No Way Home, but because we don't know if the Doomsday leaks that came out a few months ago, if you remember I made a video about it, it was basically concept art that leaks from Doomsday. We don't know if that was real yet, so if that turns out to be real, then it's going to be since then. But if not, then it's since No Way Home, because this is huge. We had Spiderman that just actually got leaked within the last hour, and more importantly, we had Doomsday, the trailer. If you guys know, there was a trailer that's supposed to be attached to Avatar, but they're doing something weird. Apparently, they're doing 4 little trailers. The first one focuses on Captain America. Captain America is back. Steve Rogers is back. Well, he's not Captain America anymore. He's just Steve Rogers. The second one's going to focus on Thor. Third one's going to focus on Doom. And I think the fourth one was going to focus on, like going to be an actual trailer. I don't know why they're doing it like this. Ladies and gentlemen, our first image is this. Steve Rogers is back. Now, this actually proves a theory that's been happening for a while. So let's break down the theory, right? A few weeks ago, Marvel announced that Doomsday will be back in theaters in September of 2026, about 3 months before Doomsday comes out. And that's just really confusing because we're like, why? It's not a 5-year anniversary. It's literally 6 years. So it's not like a big event. And so we started thinking, you know, now the MCU theorizers are coming back out finally. It feels so good to have like this hype again. Where, why would they re-release Endgame? Do they want to dethrone Avatar? I don't really think they do. The theory was that Doomsday ties into Endgame, and this has been a theory for a while, as there was some set pics that I think were leaked like a year ago, and it looked like they were filming at Steve's house at the end of Endgame. And the theory was either the beginning movie, the beginning scene of Doomsday, or one of the scenes in Doomsday was going to take place at this house. And this leaked trailer basically confirms this, that Steve Rogers is here. He has a kid with Peggy, and he's living a normal life. Now, we also do have these other scenes right here. So this is all the major scenes we see, is these shots. We see Steve on his bike. We see Steve taking out his Endgame outfit and just looking at it and almost reminiscing a little bit. And you almost get the vibe that he maybe wants to suit up. But then we see him with his kid, and it cuts to black. It says Steve Rogers will return in Avengers Doomsday. And it cuts to this clock, which puts this, I think, in April, 19 weeks, someone said, and we don't know the significance of this yet. Now, the only date around this, the date that it's going to finalize, is it's one day after the initial chair reveal. If you remember, it was a little controversial, but earlier in the year, they did the cast lineup for Doomsday, and it was basically all these chairs. It was a live stream, and every like 5 minutes, it would move to a new chair, and it would say the name of that person. It was pretty cool, but we're thinking maybe we'll get the rest of the cast, because as we know, Strange wasn't in there. Captain Marvel wasn't in there, Spider-Man wasn't in there, and obviously Steve Rogers we didn't know would come back, but he wasn't in it, and so that's really interesting. And this is really interesting as well. Now, here's my theory. Let's get into a theory craft for a second. We know at the end of Fantastic Four that Doom was going for Franklin Richards. Obviously, Franklin Richards is like one of the most powerful characters in Marvel, period. So we understood why he's going for him. But now, there's another shot. I can't find it anywhere because this trailer's harder to find. I mean, guys, I can see assassination attempts, and even full assassinations on Twitter and Vine back in the day, but I cannot find this Doomsday trailer to save the life of me. But there is a scene of, it looks like Robert Downey Jr. approaching Steve at the door, and right before he turns around, it cuts to that black screen, and obviously that's Doom. Now, there's another theory going around that, I gotta put the sleeves up, guys. There's another theory going around that Doom wants these kids. We don't know why, because in the Thor trailer, which I have no footage of, I've seen with my eyes once, and it got taken down instantly. Apparently there's a quote from Thor where he's talking about all he wants is his daughter back. As you know, at the end of Thor 4, or as you don't know, because that movie's kind of ass, he gets a surrogate's not the word, like adopted daughter from Gore the God Butcher. And so that maybe goes into this theory a little bit where it's like Doom wants all of their kids for some reason. We really don't know. Maybe it's just bluff, but this is actually real. And it's crazy because especially now we're in the age of AI where we're getting all these AI set pics, and it pisses me off because like there was almost something fun about back in the day having like fan-made stuff in Photoshop and stuff, and like you almost know it's fake. There's that big meme that comes around every time where a new movie blows up, like Trap. Remember M. Night Shyamalan? It's like, Trap, we need your help to defeat Kang, and it's a picture of Ant-Man. Like, I love those things so much. And when No Way Home was coming out, there was like some ass poorly made CGI Tobey Maguire that people were unironically using, and AI just making it so hard now to decipher. It's taking the fun out of it because it's almost like too real, but this is 100% real. And this is just so interesting to me. Like, Steve Rogers is back, and as we know, he's not Captain America anymore. Sam Wilson is. I know not a lot of people like that, but that's how it is. And it's going to be interesting because if he comes back, what is he going to do? Right? And apparently there's theories that Peggy's going to be involved, which I do not like Captain Carter. Like, she was cool to see in Doctor Strange, but then What If quickly became like her show, and I just didn't like her character that much, and I feel like What If could have been something totally different. I feel like we've just seen too much of her, honestly. So I hope she's not the main focus of this movie, but yeah, this is really interesting. It's cool to have Steve Rogers back, and it would make sense for him to suit up one more time to save his kid. And this is interesting because now there's implications, right? We see old Steve at the end of Endgame, and it's like, okay, does that old Steve, has he already gone through the events of Doomsday, and maybe he was coming back to like warn them? Or like, as we know in Marvel, like, you know, every movie has a different form of time travel, right? Like Back to the Future, if you go back, then you go back to a different future, right? Marvel was always like, okay, you make a change, you're gonna go to like a thread of a different timeline or whatever. So maybe he hasn't experienced it yet. We really don't know. But this is so interesting. I'm so glad Cap's back, even if it's for like one final like re-up. And I feel like the fact that RDJ is Doom, we still don't know how he's gonna feel or look. Obviously, it's really divisive casting that RDJ is Doom. Like I said, I do not think this is like MCU's Doom, and I think after Secret Wars we will see Doom again, but like in the MCU. And I feel like we're gonna get some really cool interactions between like Steve and this guy who looks just like Iron Man, who he has so much history with. And obviously this was at the end, Steve Rogers will return in Doomsday. I think this is cool because they're still not explaining or showing much of the movie, but just putting this in there will get us hyped for the next year. And this basically just happened. MovieBot, shout out to them, but this is all over Twitter now. Literally you can see it's 3:34, and if you look in the bottom right, it's 3:48. So I literally just saw this. Now, if you remember back in the day when No Way Home was at the peak hype, we were about to get the first trailer, the trailer leaked like a day early, and it literally looked like this, like not even 240p quality, or not even 360p quality, and it was off some laptop, and it was bootleg as fuck, and it turned out to be real. And this is the same exact thing happening here. And it's interesting because we're getting a Doomsday promo. We don't even have like a Brand New Day promo. Brand New Day comes out 6 or 7 months before Doomsday. But this is basically it. Like we see Sadie Sink, who we really did not know who she's playing. They've been hiding it very well. People were saying she could be MJ, but the general theory right now is she is playing the Chameleon. And if you don't know, the Chameleon is a villain in Spider-Man where like I think it's usually a he, but he can basically like, you know, become anyone, basically like that. And so Sadie Sink's gonna play that. And then it's cool because now we're finally getting Peter struggling with his abilities. Now, we've only seen this kind of once with Tom Holland. Obviously, if you're watching these videos, you have seen Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies, where in Spider-Man 2 he starts to lose his powers a bit after the whole MJ shit and all that, and obviously like my back, you know. The only time we really saw this with Tom, off the top of my head, is in Homecoming, ironically, of the first movie, where he's, you know, under all the debris and he's like, you know, hyping himself up. But that wasn't really like losing his powers. That was more like getting him psyched up. So it's really interesting we're going to see him like this, because as we know, this is the Peter that we know and love. Which is funny because it's sad. It's like, this is him alone. He has no friends, no family, nothing. This is him doing his Spider-Man thing, just like Spider-Man usually is. As we found out after No Way Home, that those 3 movies were actually his origin story. So it's good to see him struggling with that. Wakes up trapped in a web-like cocoon. Don't know what that is. Honestly, I don't really know much about Red Ninja Clan, Boomerang villain. And a glimpse of Matt Gargan wearing his prison outfit. Guys, if you don't know who Matt Gargan is, he is Scorpion. He's one of the main villains of Spider-Man. And, well, not main, but, you know, one of them. And at the end of Homecoming, all the way back in 2017, they teased him. Played by the guy who plays Nacho in Better Call Saul do I ever tell you the definition of insanity? From Far Cry 3. He's a great actor. I don't know why I'm blanking on his name, but he is Michael Mando. And we just never got that. That was one of like the end credit scenes that just never went anywhere, because he's trying to figure out who Peter is, blah, blah. Now we're finally going to see him, and it's going to be really nice to see how this all ties in. But I'm just really hyped for these Doomsday leaks, guys. I mean, we're going to get more and more as the weeks go on. As we know, Avatar officially comes out this Friday, the 19th. So we'll be able to get more people seeing the trailer. As we know, the trailer is attached to Avatar, along with the Odyssey, which I'm hyped for. But if they're doing these 4 trailers, over the next month or 2, we're going to be getting more and more footage. The Thor one, especially the Doom one, because we still like we have like art of Doom like that's confirmed by Disney, but we don't have like an actual picture of RDJ in the Doom suit yet. And there were leaks a few weeks ago that I didn't mention that looked like pictures of just the actors together, and it was, and as we know, like the makeup pictures came out a while ago that I think I covered on here, but then like it just looks real, and I don't know, guys. It's really hard to decipher what's real and what's not, but this is crazy. This single-handedly bring my hype meter up because I love Steve Rogers, and yeah, I do think he had a good ending. I'm one of those people that think he did have a good ending. People say it was kind of selfish, but you know, my boy just wanted a normal life. He went back, but now we're gonna get him for at least one more, maybe two more in Secret Wars movies, and then he'll finally be done. I think he'll hang it up, or we get another Hugh Jackman situation where he's doing it till he's fucking 90. But if there's any reason for him to suit back up again, it's Doom going after his kid, and maybe Peggy gets taken or something like that. You know, we do not know, and maybe he's checking the suit out here after the baby gets taken. You know, I don't know. I'm really excited. Let me know what you guys think down below. Like, this is a really interesting Avengers movie because in the other Avengers movies, we at least had an idea of what was happening. Like Avengers 1, we knew we were going up against Loki. Avengers 2, we knew it was going to be like Ultron a little bit. And then obviously 3 and 4 were all Thanos. And this is like, obviously we know it's Doom, but we know Secret Wars is coming a year after this. And we know there's so many variations of this storyline. We really don't know what's going to happen. We don't know who's showing up. We don't know what Doom is doing. You know, because like Thanos, we all knew, okay, he even before the movie came out, most people who were into like superheroes knew Thanos. You know, he wants to snap half the universe away. Ultron, we know Ultron just flat out evil. We knew Loki was evil, and we knew he was gonna wanted to invade Earth because we saw that in Thor. But we really don't know Doom's main goal here. We have an idea, right? We know Doom wants to take over the multiverse, and obviously Loki's in the movie, so we know that's gonna tie into it. And I'm just really trying to piece together how they're going to do this. And obviously he's after Franklin Richards. We don't know why yet. It seems like he was touching Doom's face, so maybe Doom has the scars. That's been theorized for a while. But other than this, we don't know why Steve's going to be involved. Like, we don't know this, why he's going to Steve. I think it has to do with the kids. But let me know what you guys think down below. I'm very excited. I know Marvel, you know, hasn't been as popular as it was, which sucks because especially the past like year or two, Marvel's been on a roll. We had Fantastic Four, Thunderbolts, I like Captain America, and we had Guardians 3, and we've had Deadpool, and I've talked about this a lot, but I really do think Marvel's doing all right now, and I just really, I feel like people are just hating Doomsday to hate. Like, obviously RDJ is a weird casting, and it was weird, but just having RDJ back and now Steve Rogers back, like, I'm fully hyped. This is like 2019 Joey again. Like, I'm here. I'm ready. I'm really interested to see how they take this, and yeah. And obviously Spider-Man's going to be great too. I'm really excited to see that because the director who did Shang-Chi, and I'm just really excited for that. But yeah, guys, these are like the more confirmed ones. There's more leaks coming out every day, but like, I just can't tell what's real and what's fake, but I know for sure this is real. But thanks guys for watching. As always, it's been Joey. See you next time. Bye-bye.